It's a way that I can get our people down and hear some good preaching for a change. And I need to get preached at, is what I need. And so anyway, just be praying for us for our trip, all right? What else is going on in the world? Big Sis, Janet Napolitano. Janet Napolitano has ignored a letter. She's the head of the Department of Homeland Insecurity, written by New Jersey Congressman Leonard Lance, calling for the Department of Homeland Insecurity chief to attend a congressional briefing and provide an explanation as to why the DHS has committed to purchasing more than 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition over the last year. In other words, they just want to sit her down and say, Ms. Napolitano, why are you buying so many bullets? Well, we just feel like, but she won't even do that. Lance, who first promised to investigate the matter during a Tea Party event March 15th, sent a letter 5 days later noting how there was a, quote, growing public concern surrounding the department's procurement of ammunition. He is not asking for Napolitano to testify, but to give us a congressional briefing because Congress wasn't aware of it. It deserves an answer. Over a week after the letter was sent, Lance's office has still not received a response, similar to how 15 other members of Congress excuse me, were stonewalled by the Department of Homeland Insecurity when they demanded to know if the huge bullet purchases were an attempt by the federal agency to restrict ammunition supplies. Instead of a formal explanation, the federal agency released a glib statement to the media because the amount of ammunition purchased was not abnormal, that the bullets were bought in bulk because it's cheaper for the agency, and that the rounds were for training purposes only. Does anybody listening to me believe that the government finally did something that saved money? Does anybody believe that? They have never, in the history of the United States of America, we've never done anything to save money. No government saves money. They don't know how to. It's like we elect people who don't know how to manage a checkbook. We elect these people, and then they go to Washington, and they don't know how to manage our checkbook either. Nancy Pelosi recently said, we don't have a spending problem in this country. We have a problem paying for it, and that's your fault, America. Wait till she sticks her hand in my bank account. U.S. sends nuclear-capable B-2 bombers to South Korea in show of force. We had a visitor last week. We had a delightful Wednesday with her. Her name is Sonia. I kept saying she was from South Korea, and she said, Pastor, we in South Korea, there is no such thing as South Korea. There's Korea, period. And those people up on the north, we don't know them. But anyway, she was from South Korea, and I said, you know, my impression of Kim Jong-un is, she said, what? I said, he appears to me to be a spoiled little rich kid that's going to get his way, and he pouts and kills people whenever he doesn't. She said, yep, that's him. The U.S. military says 2 nuclear-capable B-2 bombers have completed a training mission in South Korea amid threats from North Korea that include nuclear strikes on Washington and Seoul. The statement Thursday by U.S. forces Korea is an unusual confirmation. It follows an earlier U.S. announcement that the nuclear-capable B-52 bombers participated in ongoing U.S.-South Korean military drills. Those bombers come from the state of Missouri, and Missouri loves company. I think they come out of Grandview, Missouri. So anyway, and Missouri's motto is show me, and we're going to show them. People, I don't know. I'm not a prognosticator. I don't know what's going to happen, but the news is full right now of North Korea and a possible imminent war with North Korea. It would not surprise me on any given morning if I woke up and found out that South Korea or Japan had been hit with a nuclear weapon, because North Korea has them. They have missiles capable of delivering them as far as Japan, as far as South Korea, and as far as any ships we might have in the area, and we just sent a destroyer over there. They do not have the capability to send a missile to the coastline of the continental or juxtapositional United States of America yet. But this man's crazy. He comes from a crazy line. His grandfather, his father, now him. And you cannot, he may be just saber rattling to show that he's in charge. But he is playing, he's like a 2-year-old with a pistol in his hand. He's going to play with it until it goes off. And I would say, and I don't know. I don't know if he's in cahoots with Iran. I don't know. But what we don't want is a nuclear war. We don't want that. I don't want to see, in my lifetime, a nuclear bomb going off anywhere. Is it possible that North Korea and Iran are working together and that they may have smuggled a nuclear weapon up from Mexico? How hard would that be? I don't know. But there are some things that if you're not watching what's going on in this world and all the people around you think you're crazy, wait till the bomb goes off. And then give them scripture, all right? Michelle sent me this. Florida megapastor partners with the former CARE chairman to oppose anti-Sharia bill. Joel C. Hunter, senior pastor of the Northland Church in Longwood, Florida, asked Atif Farid, former chairman of CARE Florida, C-A-I-R, to read Hunter's statement opposing SB 58, application of foreign laws in certain cases, to the Florida Senate Committee on Governmental Oversight and Accountability. And this article goes on. You know, I didn't print the rest of it. My fault. But here we have a Florida pastor in cahoots now with the Islamic extremist group in this country. And let's see. Let me make sure I get it right here. I don't want to act stupid. Let's see. To oppose an anti-Sharia bill. So in Florida, there's a bill right now being debated and voted on that will exclude Sharia law from being used in the state of Florida. And so this stupid megachurch pastor, who is part of the ecumenical movement under the Vatican, see, it's just real easy to trace. If it's ecumenical, it's the Vatican. They started this in 1963. And but anyway, this would be bad now. This would be bad for the Muslims in the state of Florida. I'm a megachurch pastor, and I know, and I don't want this. You're a sellout. You're not a shepherd. You're a hireling. What you're doing is for money and for popularity. You want to get in the paper, so everybody, all the liberal people who don't actually believe the Bible yet want to go to church, they're going to come to your church because you've liberalized everything and you're everybody's buddy and you're trying to get the world to like you, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Speaking of the world, I announced this Sunday, I'm making an official announcement today that until either I buy the company or somebody else who loves the Bible buys the company, I will never again, ever, never, ever drink another Starbucks product as long as I live. I do. I'm just telling you what I'm swearing to today. Starbucks CEO to Christian shareholders, buy stock somewhere else. At the annual shareholders meeting last week, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz insulted Christians throughout the country by suggesting they buy stocks in another coffee business if they do not agree with his position on same-sex marriage. It is no surprise that Starbucks supports homosexual marriage. They've been sending liberal messages for years, but this is beyond anything that we have seen from the left or the right. Schultz went as far as to tell shareholders who support Christian values to sell their stock and support other companies, which I'm going to do. According to ChristianNews.net, Tom Strobar, a shareholder, raised a question during the shareholders meeting about the significant drop in sales after a boycott from the National Organization for Marriage, who was protesting Starbucks' support of homo marriage in Washington State. In the first full quarter after this boycott was announced, our sales and our earnings, shall we say politely, were a bit disappointing. In response, Starbucks CEO said the company's decision to support gay marriage was not an economic one, and snidely suggested Strobar and other Christians who support natural marriage take their investment elsewhere. If you feel respectfully that you can get a higher return on than the 38% you got last year, it's a free country. You can sell your shares in Starbucks and buy shares in another company. Thank you very much. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have any share in Starbucks other than when I share with them my money, they share with me a cup of coffee. And I can't express this enough. This is a big thing for me. This is a huge, huge thing for me. The first time I ever drank a cup of Starbucks coffee, I did so with a big smile on my face. After I drank it and went home, and the closest Starbucks to me is about 20 miles away, I wanted to turn around that night and go back and get another one. And the next morning I woke up going, I wish I had a Starbucks. I love their coffee. I don't like anybody else's coffee as much as I like Starbucks. And I've tried gas station coffee. I've tried McDonald's coffee. I have not tried Dunkin' Donuts because we don't have a Dunkin' Donuts in Festus. But I have tried everybody else's coffee, even my own, and it's not as good as Starbucks. They make an exceptional product. So for me to say I am never, ever, 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 ever going to drink another cup of Starbucks coffee as long as this is their policy, my flesh is going, Mike, you don't want to do, Mike, don't do this, Mike. Mike, think about it. Come on, Mike. Smell the aroma. Remember the feeling of it going down. Remember the taste. Remember the afterthought. Remember all of that. Mike, don't do that. It's just typical of any sin that we say, I'm not going to do this again. Your flesh is going, now come on now, remember that satisfaction, remember that feeling, remember that flavor, remember that smell, remember this, remember that. And so I'm going to protest, and then I'm going, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm going to protest. I'm not going to drink anymore. And I said, yeah, you will. You will. Oh, yeah, you just keep quiet about it. You will. But I'm making it public now. You'll never see me with another cup of Starbucks or one of them little drinks they sell in the gas stations. I won't do it. Airports, won't do it. Driving up north, I won't do it. Going through the mall, won't do it. Will not do it. I'm done. Let's see here. What else is going on here? There's gun control stuff all over the place. Let me show you this. Let me get rid of these pesky graphics up here. UN passes, I'm going to have to pull my PowerPoint up. I can't read this. UN passes sweeping international arms regulation viewed by some as Second Amendment override. Here we go, people. Get ready. United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday signed off on a sweeping first-of-its-kind treaty to regulate the international arms trade, brushing aside worries from U.S. gun rights advocates that the pact could lead to a national firearms registry and disrupt the American gun market. The long-debated UN Arms Trade Treaty requires countries to regulate and control the export of weaponry such as battle tanks, combat vehicles, and aircraft and attack helicopters, as well as parts and ammunition for such weapons. It also provides that signatories will not violate arms embargoes, international treaties regarding illicit trafficking, or sell weaponry to countries for genocide, crimes against humanity, or other war crimes. And it's a setup. It is an absolute setup for it's an end-run gun control measure is what it is. They can't get it passed in the Congress. They can't get it passed any other way. So now they're going to run around it and use some semblance of a United Nations treaty, which, according to our Constitution, treaties are binding.